Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I hope wherever you are in the world, today's been treating you so well. In today's video, I'm going to be doing 3 looks with the new Beauty Bay Desert Haze eyeshadow palette. Honestly, I feel like I am so late making this video, but I had a spare day, well, a spare afternoon, and I thought, it's time. I want to play more with that. I want to come up with 3 completely different looks, hopefully. As of yet, I have only filmed one of them, but let's see where the other 2 go. So, like I say, this is look number 1. We have gone warm, we have gone smoky, we've gone quite dark and dramatic, but definitely leaning into more of the warmer oranges and red tones. Then this one here is look number 2, more lemon, more light, using that light beautiful lemony shimmer. I absolutely love that inner corner shade. And then look number 3, it's the blue wing that I feel like I promised you a month ago. I feel like I promised you that look so long ago, but they are the 3 looks that I am going to be creating for you today. I would love to hear what you think of all 3, which is your favourite, and also if you have this palette, what colour combinations you have been loving as well. I will leave everything linked down below that I have used in this video down in the description box. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, and let's jump into look number 1. Okay, so for look number 1, I think I want to do something a little bit more red based. I'm really interested in using this Scorpion shade. I'm going to desperately try and not use Mirage in any of my looks for this video. So I feel like that's the obvious answer. Everybody knows you can just whack multi-chrome across the lid and it will look absolutely delectable. So I'm going to try and not do that, but I think something a little bit more red. I really want to use Desert Rose as well. I haven't used this one yet. So that's the vibe for look number 1. Let's start, honestly, let's just start with that darkest shade right on the outer corner with a small fluffy brush. None of my brushes are clean. You don't get to judge me. I have already got the e.l.f. eyeshadow primer across the lid. It is the Lock It Down eyeshadow primer. That is my eyeshadow primer of choice, and I'm going to dip into Scorpion, that darkest shade that I pointed out then. Gonna dip into that shade there, and let's pack this right on the outer corner. You may well notice that I don't have any of my other base makeup on. Also, hello to my friend that has just popped up right on the end of my nose. I love that for me. So I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna, you know, do the rest of my face makeup afterwards, but let's really pack this shade on the outer corner, sort of in the shape that I want. Obviously, winging it out. I'm really gonna try and not do like exactly the same look in every clip for this video, but who knows? Who knows? Let's wait and see. So I have also sort of very roughly dragged that along the lash line just to deepen up right on the lash line, and I'm going to go in with a fluffier brush and I will go into, let's use Canyon. Let's keep this quite bright. Dip into that one and I will put that through the crease. That will also blend out the top edge of that darker shade really nicely into the crease. Ooh, I really like this Canyon shade. It's one that I've used a lot just as a transition because it's really nice and bright, but it also blends out just to be a beautiful warm transition tone. I love these shades on blue eyes. I know I say that all the time and you will get bored of me saying that throughout this video because these tones are just perfect. They really make blue eyes pop and I love that. So blending, intensifying that beautiful almost burnt orange shade right on the outer corner, and then very lightly blending it forwards like so. Beautiful, beautiful. I think I will just put a bit more of that Scorpion shade right onto the outer corner and a bit more across the lid. Honestly, I do want this look to be quite dark and smoky, so let's add more of that. I'm going to take a smaller fluffy brush and I'm going to dip into Sirocco, this like basically my skin tone, and I will put that a little bit further in where there isn't anything sort of in my crease and above the orange, just to lighten that up a little bit here, to like transition that into that lighter shade. See, and that just brightens it up. You see how that's just a little bit brighter? That's what I want. I really like the contrast between something very, very light and bright right on the inner corner and then something really dark and smoky on the outer corner. Oh, love. So let's pack that onto that inner part of the crease, and I will also just very, very lightly above that orange lighten that up right under the brow bone a little bit, like so. Yes, so let's just go straight in with Desert Rose, like all across the lid basically. So taking that on my finger, I mean, look at that colour. Beautiful. And I'm going to tap this across the lid, but leaving the very sort of centre bare so we can put something else there. Tapping this over. It's like a foil. It's very, very pretty. And as the name would suggest, it's got that warmth that obviously like matches the vibe of the palette. It's got those warmer undertones, but it's almost got a rose gold quality to it, this shade. It's very, very pretty. So tapping this in, and then when there's less on my finger, sort of tapping over those crease shades just to get a little bit of that product up there, and then back in with the brushes. But honestly, I don't even feel like that needs a great deal of blending, just a little tickle. So then right on the inner corner, I'm deciding between Salt Flat and Hazy. So that's Salt Flat and Hazy. I think Hazy, you know, as much as Salt Flat is brighter, I feel like I want that more warm, you know? So let's take a smaller, dense brush and let's dip into Hazy, and I will tap that on the lid still, so not technically like right on the inner corner. I may well add more. You know I will when I've done like my concealer and everything, but on the lid, and then sort of dispersing that over that Desert Rose. Yeah, I like the little glitters in this shade as well. Like it's very glittery. It is very, very glittery, but you can almost disperse them over the top of the other shimmers and really get that soft highlighted glittery look. Yes, I like this a lot. I like this a lot. So let's just do one blend here in between those transition tones through the crease there, those matte shades. Honestly, that was so quick. That was so quick. So I am going to clean this up. I'm going to do the rest of my face, and I will be right back to finish up look number one. So quick. Have I ever done a smoky eye so quick? Probably not. Okay, there we go. Just moving my little hand fan off to the side because it is hotter than the surface of the sun in my room today. So that is the rest of my face done. So let's go back in and add something nice and smoky under the eyes. I will go in with that darker Scorpion shade lightly, just on the same brush. Ooh. on the outer corner. Now I did sharpen this up, but I do think I want to soften this line a little, so I'm just going to tickle over that edge there, soften that down a smidge, and run that Scorpion shade along the lower lash line. Yeah, a little something like that, just to sort of round it out a bit. I always sharpen up the eyeshadow and then I'm like, actually I wanted that a bit rounder and I shouldn't have done that. Note to self, you don't always have to do that. There are other options. There we go. So then I'm just going to take that bigger fluffy brush. I'm not going to add any more colour onto it, but just going to buff over the edge of that darker shade just to blend it out a bit, smoke it out a bit. You know how it is. And then let's add more of that sparkly shade right onto the inner corner, Hazy, just on the same brush. Tap that right onto that inner corner, adding a lot of that sparkle right there. I do really like that shade. If you want something that's like, if you're my sort of skin tone and you want something that's nice and bright but has more of that warmth under it, Hazy is the one. Salt Flat if you want something a bit more icy, a bit brighter, but Hazy if you want something nice and warm. There we go. So let's add some mascara. I will leave everything else that I am wearing on my face, everything else in the description box, but the mascara is the new one that I've recently tested from Profusion, which is called Dream Big, and I'm a big fan. It does not smudge, it does not flake, it lasts all day, very, very dramatic. I really, really like it. There we go. So look number one is done. Dark and dramatic and warm. And not a duochrome or multichrome in sight. Which is the trick when you have these beautiful shades in the palette. It's so easy to just automatically go to them. But there are 19 other shades in this palette that are all equally as incredible. So I feel like this look really matches my hair. I've just recoloured it last week. I really feel like that look is bringing out all of the colours in my hair that I love. I really, really like how this one has turned out. Look number one. So let's move on to look number two. Okay, so look number two. You may well notice I am filming all of this in the same day. I will look the same. So look number two, one of my favourite looks to do with this palette is something a little bit warm through the crease, and then this shade Sol, the shimmery, beautiful pastel lemon yellow on the inner corner and sort of above the crease, through the inner part of the crease to really open up the eye. I usually add a big black wing. We'll see how I feel at the end, but very quick, very easy, very impactful with that shimmer. I really, really like doing this look just for an everyday, so we'll see how quick this will be. So starting with a fluffy brush, and I'm going to go into June, this shade down at the bottom, get a little bit of that, and the rest of my base is done already. So again, I have got the e.l.f. eyeshadow primer on, and I'm just going to wiggle this through the crease and also under the eye. So that is just that one shade. I have packed quite a bit of that onto the outer corner, but I am going to go in with that same little brush, and I will go into Scorched, again on the bottom row, a matte dark brown, and I will put a little bit of that, keeping it on the lid, not blowing it out too far, not making this too dark and smoky. I want these looks to actually look different. And packing that onto the outer corner of the lid and basically just tapping the edges in the tiniest little bit Not taking this out too far. I'm not going to put this under the eye. I'm not making this too dark, she says. Just you wait. Just you wait. So, not doing too much. Not doing the most. And then, oh, the end that's got the bristles on it, Mildred. Just wiggle back over the top to blend it in with that fair shade. Soften it down a little bit across the lid, like so. Super quick, super easy. Then going in with the same brush, the same brush that I just used for the inner corner, and I'm going to pick up Sol. And you will see, let me just wipe this off actually, because I did just use it. Wipe it off on a bit of tissue. Tap into Sol. Pick up quite a bit of that beautiful lemon shade. And the eyeshadow primer is still very, very much tacky right on the inner corner. So I'm going to press this here. Press, 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 press. Little tappy motions. Press, press, press. And then swoop up above the crease. Not keeping this on the lid. Not applying it onto the lid. Above. And tapping it up this way. And sort of into where I get quite a lot of blue, like right in here. Pressing in that yellow sort of cancels that out. Makes it look like the heat wave isn't making me sleep deprived. Honestly, I think I got like 3 hours sleep last night. It took me so long to fall asleep. And then, I'm going off on a tangent now. Who was surprised? And then I was awoken at just before 6 by my cat, who wanted her breakfast. And then I couldn't get back to sleep again. I was like, well, the day has started now. And here I am. It's like, I don't even know, 11 o'clock in the morning. And I have 2 loads of washing out in the garden drying. They will already be dry because it is so hot. Like that is a good part about summer. You can get all your laundry done, and that is the only good thing. That's the only plus point for me. So tiny little circular motions over the edges of that shimmer, but you can see I'm not taking it onto the lid. It's all just right on that inner corner. And it's so bright, and like when it catches the light, it's just beautiful. So I'm going to now take a very, very fluffy, what's the opposite of dense, like loosely packed brush, and I'm going to dip into Yucca, the pastel lemony yellow, and I'm just gonna wash that across the lid just to set where that eyeshadow primer is and brighten it up, but I don't want that shimmer across the lid because I think it's really impactful just having that like above the crease. Yes, I like it. I like it, I like it. So just a tiny little bit just to brighten up the lid, but more just to set the eyeshadow primer, honestly. Just a little something. So I'm just going to make sure that I have as much of that June shade under the eye as I would like, and I think I'm going to treat myself and I'm going to allow myself a liquid liner because I think that these 17 Ink Legend in the bronzy shade will just go beautifully with this. So I'm going to go off, I'm going to do a wing and mascara, and I will be right back. There we go. So a much lighter amount of mascara. I'm not trying to make this look as dark and dramatic and volumized as the first look. I feel like something like it's the same mascara, but I've just done a lighter amount of it, and that also just accentuates the softness of the look. And I love that yellow. Like, I feel like that shimmery yellow right on the inner corner is so beautiful, but not having any of the shimmer across the lid also just makes it a little bit more fun, a little bit more interesting. So that is look number 2 all done. I'm going to take all of this off. I'm going to sit in front of my fan for a little minute and then I will be right back with look number 3. Okay, so I have gotten more red because I just went and sat outside, but I have substantially cooled down. So let's go on to look number 3. And you may be able to see I have got tape on the sides of my eyes because yes, we're doing that old trick where I'm just going to smudge that colour out, not be neat, not be tidy, just smudge it out into the tape, take it off, and it will look beautiful. But I'm going to be using the sparkly blue. What I'm doing across the lid, I don't know. Maybe just something matte, you know? Maybe just something, maybe the green. I haven't used the green yet. I'm figuring this whole thing out as I go along. Like life in general, but also this whole video, this look, etc. So let's start with something through the crease. Let's use a fluffy brush and I will go in with, let's use Fennec because I can use that through the crease, then this to deepen up the crease on the outer corner perhaps, then something nice and bright on the inner corner and the blue wing. Let's just see how this goes. So like I say, starting with Fennec, and I have put the e.l.f. eyeshadow primer back on. Of course, so, and this is probably going to be quite dark and smoky, so let's really blend this out. I will also put these colours on the lid because the statement here is going to be that blue sparkly wing. And honestly, I don't know how this is going to go. This is my first time using the blue, so let's see. So I'm just going to use the same brush and go into the shade Sirocco, which was that lighter skin tone shade. And again, I will put that on the inner part of the crease. Again, just to set it really, just to set that eyeshadow primer. Do that on both sides. It brightens it up a little bit, but more than anything, I just want that area set. So let's go in with a smaller fluffy brush, this one here, and let's go into Agave, the dark like khaki green. This brush is glittery. One moment. There, that's better. And let's pack this on the outer half-ish and also into the crease. I do really, really like this green shade. It's got a really nice, like, warm, murky undertone. I mean, I love greens at the best of times, you know. But I particularly like a sort of khaki green. Like, it feels very wearable. Not that that is my concern necessarily with this look, but I feel like I maybe should have done at least one sort of halo eye or something in this video. Something a little bit more creative than just a smoky eye. Never mind. It's too late now. I'm on look number 3 and I've got a vision. This eye will not stop watering, so we're just gonna have to make do with that. So let's take a flat brush, something like this, and let's put on our big girl pants. Let's be brave. I know I shouldn't be scared, but I'm genuinely, like, that colour just feels so alien to me. Even as someone who really likes colour, I don't know, it being a dark, shimmery blue is, like, so alien to me. So, flat brush, dipping in to the palette. Can you see? Dipping in. And let's really load that up on that brush. And just stamp it along. There's so much fallout. Just stamp it along. Scary. So scary. It's literally just an eyeshadow, Millie. Stop being scared. My problem is that I'm trying to visualize how this is going to look without the tape before I take the tape off. Because obviously there's colour on the tape here that's making that look sort of lower down than it is. I mean, that colour matches my nails quite nicely. Still scared of it. Still very, very much scared of it. And there's so much fallout under my eyes that I'm going to have to clean up. But now let's move on to the leaky eye. It's always this eye. I don't know why. Oh, that rhymed. This is also when I realise that I haven't done my tape at all equal. It's fine. If you have if you have successfully created a look with this palette and you have used the shade Oasis, the blue metallic eyeshadow, I would love to hear how you have used it, how you've incorporated it. Because this is genuinely the only way that I would ever use it. And like, I'm not going to do this every day. I'm not going to do this ever again. I don't know. Let's wait and see. So I want quite a fluffy brush. This one will do. And I'm going to dip into Sandstorm because this is more of like a, it's like a topper shade. It's very sort of sparsely glittery. So I'm just going to use this on a big fluffy brush across the lid just to add a little something, but I don't want anything that's going to cover over the green or the warmth through the crease. Just a little wash of a sparkle. So it's like, can you even see it? I can see it. It's a subtle little sparkle. Not one that I would necessarily, like I'm probably going to do an inner corner when I come to finish up, but I do like this for a little wash of something sparkly across the lid. Honestly, I would absolutely use this as a highlight on my face or something like that. So that is everything, I do believe. Let's just blend a little bit. What brush was I using? No, at this point. Let's just blend this blue a little bit more. I don't want it to be a sharp wing. I want it to be like a smudgy wing. So hard to tell before you take off the tape, but let's just go for it. 3, 2, 1. Sharp. Okay, so they are not even remotely the same. Let me just fix this up. I'm happy with the line underneath, but above I can tell now that they are very, very different. So give me a minute. So I've just added a little bit more of the green across the lid. I feel like I want a little bit more of the warmth of the orange, so I'm going to take, I've used like literally every single brush in my collection. I'm going to take a smaller fluffy brush and I'm going to dip into Canyon just really, really lightly, like one little dip, and I'm going to just introduce a tiny little bit more warmth, just a really, really little bit. I feel like that'll contrast nicely with the blue. Yeah, I like that. A subtle little bit of extra warmth sort of above the crease, so you can still see it, you know? So once again, I am going to clean up all of this fallout. Like, there's a lot of blue on my face currently, so I'm going to go clean this up. And then honestly, I think to keep this a little bit different, I won't do anything under the eye. But I probably will add something nice and bright to the inner corner. So I'm going to go off, do the rest of my face, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I did try and sort of even this up a little bit. One side was just looking real wrong. So I did sort of take some micellar water, clean this up, redid it, rejigged a little bit if that's looking a little bit different. But I quite like the difference when I do a look that is just on the lid and nothing under the eye. I'm not going to do it every day because I love a smoky under eye, but I feel like this looks more dramatic having it just on the lid. And that blue was easy enough to work with. Like it's a good blue shade. If you're looking for a dark blue shimmer, it's just a weird choice for me. So I'm going to go ahead and just add something real nice and bright on the inner corner. So I already used Hazy in one look. Let's go for the nice bright, more cool toned shade. Salt Flat. So just taking the same brush, packing this onto the inner corner, and I'm not going to blend that out too far. So I don't want the inner corner to take over from the drama that I've got on that blue shimmery wing. So let's just tap that in a little bit, and I think I am done. I think I'm done. I did get some mascara on my lid here and I tried to take it off without ruining the makeup underneath, and I couldn't, so it's there now. And also it's like 27 degrees outside right now and it's hotter in here, so yes, thank you so much for asking. I am turning into a puddle, but this is look number 3. I need to go and sit in the shade outside with my Coca-Cola. I need to charge my fan because this is like, it keeps dying on me, so need to go and charge that, need to drink this. But this is look number 3. I'm glad that I have finally used the shimmery blue, just to say that I've used it. Just to say, look, I actually did it. But I'm happy with how the look turned out. I think look number 1 would still be my favourite though. I would love to hear which is your favourite too. So that is everything. Like I say, I will leave everything linked down below. The palette, everything else that I'm wearing on my face today. Spoiler alert, I used exactly the same products in all 3 looks for my base and the lip and everything. So that will all be linked down below. I would love to hear if you have used that blue shimmery shade in a look. I would love to hear how you have incorporated it, because honestly, other than doing this look, I don't know how I would use it. But I am open to ideas. I would love to hear how you have used it. But that is everything. I hope you have had a fantastic day. I hope if it is absolutely swelteringly hot where you are, that you are managing to keep cool. And that is everything. Thank you ever so much for watching. Bye bye.